What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe right now down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times and tune in so you don't miss out. And thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. U.S. gas prices have soared yet again here today and have hit a new record high since the highest since 2008, the highest in 14 years. Gas Buddy, head of petroleum analysts, said in a statement today, quote, "Americans have never seen gasoline prices this high, nor have we seen the pace of increases so fast and furious. That combination makes this situation all the more remarkable and intense, with crippling sanctions on Russia curbing their flow of oil, leading to a massive spike in price for all fuels, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and more," he explained. "It's a dire situation and won't improve anytime soon. The high prices are likely to stick around for not days or weeks like they did in 2008, but for months." Gas Buddy now expects the yearly national average to rise to its highest ever recorded. The average price of gasoline in the US hit a record high of $4.10 on Monday, surpassing the previous record of $4.10.3. It was $4.10.4 today, set in 2008. So apparently this is the highest record price of gas ever, I believe. I think it's the highest price ever recorded in U.S. history. Wow. I think that speaks for itself. Fox News reports that Biden may travel to Saudi Arabia in quest for oil, report says, as Russia ban remains possible here in the U.S. With a potential ban on Russia remains gaining support. In fact, the House of Representatives last night was drafting a bill to potentially ban Russian oil here in the U.S. And some quote banning of oil, but not really banning, just the stop buying of Russian oil has already started. The only refinery in Hawaii for the entire state of Hawaii and all the Hawaiian Islands, they've already stopped buying Russian oil. So that's actually a significant amount because that's for the entire Hawaiian Islands and the whole state. And remember, the Russian oil only really goes to the West Coast, so that's actually a pretty significant amount of the supply of Russian oil. Hawaii's already just stopped buying Russian oil. And the EU, who actually takes the vast majority of Russian oil, the European Union said today that they are going to try to cut dependence on Russian gas by 80% this year. So if they actually do this, this would cripple Russia. This would cripple Russia. The European Union's executive arm is reportedly planning to scale back the bloc's reliance on Russian oil imports by up to 80% this year, as Western governments continue to mull a possible ban on Russian oil and energy products. Sources close to the matter told Bloomberg that the European Commission is revising its energy strategy in an effort to reduce Moscow's leverage over the West. And the plan is expected to be presented on Tuesday. Meanwhile, angry dock workers in the UK, United Kingdom, are refusing to unload Russian oil due to the Ukraine invasion. And these workers are taking it into their own hands. These two Russian ships in the UK had to literally be turned away. So apparently they're not going to be buying Russian oil either because they won't even unload it. The workers won't unload the Russian oil, so I guess they're not going to be buying Russian oil either. So Putin's leverage over the world when it comes to oil and gas is literally slipping away by the day. That's one of his last pieces of leverage. The only other last piece of leverage that he really has is actually taking over Ukraine and the nukes that he has. That's basically about it. There's not much more that he actually has. Meanwhile, though, the world continues to suffer, and here in the US, high price of gas, high price of oil, and the stock market plunging. Here yet again today, the Dow Jones Index down 800 points here today. One of the worst days of the year, if not the worst day of the year. Dow Jones Index for stocks down 797 points here today. That is a massive, massive drop here today. That's 2.37%. The NASDAQ down almost like 50% more. That's about 3.62%. So, yeah, that's massive, massive losses here today. And remember that it's not, the stock market's not just for the wealthy. Over 50% of people in the U.S. have money in the stock market here today through pensions, 401k, and retirement funds. And we have just continued to see. Here's a year-to-date chart. It's a massive drop, like the NASDAQ, which is a lot of tech stocks like Apple, Google, Yahoo, all those sorts, Tesla. The year started off at 15,800. It's now down to 12,800 for the NASDAQ. That's a significant drop. I mean, what is that? Let me see here. That's nearing in on a 20% drop here year to date. So good time to buy, though. Good time to buy. If you're a long-term investor, good time to buy. I mean, you look at a 5-year chart here. 5 years ago, the NASDAQ was at 5,800. Now it's at 12,800. So over 5 years, you've more than doubled your money. But you see this dip. This is a significant dip here since November. November, it was at 16,000. Now it's at 12,800. So you can see, again, stock market, anything, buy low, sell high. If you're a long-term investor, you can see that this is quite a dip here. So it's a significant discount here if you're a long-term investor. If you're not a long-term investor, if you don't have patience, this quite a different story though. But this is a 5-year chart. It's doubled. It more than doubled in 5 years. Meanwhile, the Democrats make a quote global offer on government funding the government shutdown, which is bill which they're going to have to pass before the 11th, which is Friday. Ukraine and COVID-19 aid. So they're going to have a government shutdown here by Friday if they can't, what they call it, walk and chew gum at the same time, because we're going to have to deal with, what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and also get a government funding bill done, because there's a lot going on here right now. You can see here, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, on Monday said that Democrats had made a global offer as Congress tries to wrap up the government funding negotiations by the Friday night deadline. He says, quote, Democrats have made a reasonable global offer to Republicans, and it is my hope that we will reach an agreement very soon so that we can meet the March 11th government funding deadline, he wrote in a Dear Colleague letter. In addition to government funding, the massive bill is expected to include billions of dollars in new military and humanitarian assistance to address Russia's invasion of Ukraine. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, in a letter to her caucus over the weekend, said the administration had requested $10 billion in Ukraine, and the Congress intends to enact this emergency funding this weekend as part of our omnibus government funding legislation. The White House also requested $22.5 billion for virus relief. The Republicans had balked at that number, arguing that there needs to be an accounting of how the previous virus money was spent. Quote, we have been working on a bipartisan, bicameral basis through the weekend to finish work on an omnibus package that includes robust assistance to the people and the government of Ukraine and additional funds to ensure our country is prepared if and when the next virus variant strikes, Schumer wrote in a letter. Congress has to get a deal done by the end of Friday. And in order to meet the Friday deadline, the Senate will also need a deal with all 100 members in order to speed up passage of the spending bill. There's a group of conservatives, Republicans, demanding a vote on defunding Biden's vaccine mandates in exchange for speeding up any government funding legislation. The group made similar demands on previous stopgap bills passed by Congress and were able to get amendment votes, which failed. Republican Senator Mike Lee from Utah says, quote, we're writing to let you know that we will once again not consent to a time agreement that eases passage of a continuing resolution or omnibus that funds these mandates. And if negotiators aren't quickly able to reach an agreement, they could need to use another continuing resolution to buy themselves more time. We'd have to make great strides between now and Monday or Tuesday at the latest to be able to do this. Leave it up to Congress to literally wait until the last minute. But in this case, they have been very busy with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing and rising gas and oil prices and figuring out how to navigate through this, and also figuring out if we're going to not buy Russian oil. It's not just a simple, let's not buy Russian oil, because if they do that, we have a complicated solution on our hands, because there's a lot of Republicans and Democrats saying let's not do that. A lot of Republicans, even Democrats, Nancy Pelosi saying let's not do this. Biden's a little unsure because he knows he's going to get a lot of pushback. A lot of people are going to, quote, blame Biden like they're already doing for the high gas prices, right? So what's going to happen here is if and when they make the decision to not buy Russian oil, even though it's only 5 to 8% of our oil, it's going to send gas prices up even higher, even though they're literally rising by the day already. Because remember, oil is traded on a global platform. You look at the price of oil worldwide, you can see this headline here from the Wall Street Journal. Oil tops $130 a barrel as Russian attacks escalate. Buyers are bidding up prompt crude deliveries to replace Russian barrels. Oil is traded on a global basis, So this is affecting the whole world. It's not even just a Biden or a Trump thing or a Democrat or a Republican thing. This is affecting the whole world, countries everywhere, Canada, Australia, the European Union, Russia. I mean, this is affecting Ukraine. I mean, everywhere, right? And really, it's not even just the price of oil, just the price of gas. I mean, think about what's going on actually with the people of Ukraine, and inflation, and the price of everything else, the price of groceries, the price of goods, the price of everything you buy in the store. With the price of oil hovering between $125 and $130 a barrel, it's a complicated situation. And the price of oil is just it's a complicated matter. The thing is that Russia makes millions and millions and millions of barrels of oil, and if the U.S. doesn't want to buy it, and if the European Union doesn't want to buy it, if all the NATO countries don't want to buy it, that's going to make less supply for all these countries. There has to be more oil that comes from somewhere. And then you also kind of got to think of long term. I mean, think about 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Are we eventually going to run out of oil at some point? This is the whole kind of renewable energy thing. I mean, or some point down the line, right? Especially when you think about a whole country the size of Russia. Think about how large Russia is, right? It's a massive, massive country. And then think about a large chunk of the world doesn't want to buy oil from them anymore because, well, you have Putin, who you can't trust a word he says, and he's threatening nuclear war against the world. So it's just like, who wants to buy anything? Who wants to do any business with that guy, right? So this is kind of like the problem here with with doing any business with Russia, right? But meanwhile, Americans are going to pay a price at the pump and inflation. And long term, we're going to have to figure out how to bring the price of gas down here in the U.S. and globally. We're going to have to drill, baby, drill here in the U.S. That's going to take time. Setting up new oil refineries and new drilling here in the U.S. and setting up all sorts of buying oil from other countries, setting up new drilling here in the U.S. All that stuff takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight, but the price of oil can go up overnight. So it's a complicated solution. And hopefully we'll get more support from our government, maybe in the form of stimulus checks, anti-inflation checks, whatever they want to call them here. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I will keep you up to date here with everything. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. I will keep you up to date here with everything. Remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times and tune in at those times so you don't miss out on new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to see how Democratic leaders are talking about passing stimulus items via executive orders by the president. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.